the Blues and Jets perfect at home. What have you seen so far? What do you expect? Or is it a fool's errand to try to guess what's going to happen next in this series? Because we've really been feeling quite differently after game 2 in Winnipeg and after game 4 in St. Louis.
Well, the only thing I expect is that, the St. Louis Blues on home ice are going to bring everything they have. And what that looks like is what we've seen pretty much through every game to start this series. Guys like Braden Shin just running everything in sight. And that's a tough game to sustain. And St. Louis got worn down in the first 2, but then took advantage of the matchups in games 3 and 4 in St. Louis. I thought Jim Montgomery did a superb job of how he managed his lineup, particularly in both of the back halves of games 3 and game 4. So it shifts back to Winnipeg. Winnipeg clicks into their structure. I would say Connor Hellebuyck was better, not marginally better, but he was better, and he knew he had to be better. For me in St. Louis to close this series, I think Hellebuck's going to have to steal one. I do. And isn't that obvious, I guess? Mark Scheifele, we know, isn't available. So, based on what we're hearing, that there could be some head-related issues there. You do wonder about Sunday in game 7, if the Blues are able to sneak one out here. But I'm less, if I were a Jets fan, I'd be less concerned with not having Mark Scheifele there, even though obviously he's a key contributor, to a concern over what Connor Hellebuyck is going to surface in this game tonight. Is it going to be the guy in the regular season where we see almost single-handedly steals games? Or is it going to be the guy in the postseason that if the structure breaks down, he hasn't been there to slam that door shut? And that's the guy they need. So we'll see.
Haven't seen much of that guy in the playoffs the last few years. It's been few and far between. We talked about it yesterday. We showed the highlights, the hit by Shen on Scheifele.
I thought it was a major. I did. Marginal, but I thought it was a major. I didn't think it was beyond that. I loved, the showmanship after the fact. Like Monty wasn't sure. He was not sure what was going down. So when he made it clear that Mark Scheifele did not get hurt by the hit of Braden Shen, it was the Radek Faksa hit. That was Montgomery basically telling the world, okay, get the message out because we're worried that George Parros is going to call up Braden Shen. So let's shift our attention over to this hit because that's actually the one that hurt him. And the truth is, it was probably a combination, right? So I had someone close to the series tell me, just take a look at, and I'm not taking anything away from Braden Shen because he has been a physical specimen in this series. He really has been. Somebody said, why don't you, if you can track maybe 15 of his hits in this series, let us know what you think. And I looked, and there's a number of them where he leaves his feet. Yeah, there's a
That's why I'm surprised he didn't do anything, Dregs, because that's not the type of hit you want to encourage, even if it's just one of those $5,000 parking tickets.
Yeah.
Well, and especially now because it worked brilliantly for St. Louis because Scheifele is out and there was no discipline. So,
well, and look, they're handing out fines for this guy mucking around in warm-up and this guy being a jerk in warm-up and all of that. Honestly, I think that's what frustrates teams more than anything. Is okay, really? We're charging teams $25,000 because
why can't they just have a mandate that the home team gets to go off last?
Yeah, and you have a certain amount of time to get the hell off the ice. Like Mark Scheifele shouldn't be able to spend an extra 7 minutes out there or whatever it is. I understand that. But are we really, that's where angst is drawn, is to warm up, and we're disciplining teams and individual players financially because of the warm up when guys are getting tagged like that? I honestly, I'm glad I'm not in hockey ops or ownership, man. I'd lose my marbles on a daily basis with some of the stuff.
Like if a team shot a puck through the side of the net and it went in, and it counted. That would upset you.
Yeah, that would. Just like that. Yeah, that one hurts.
Exactly.
I get it.
Like hey, buddies, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.